Peace, everybody. I'm your host, Vina, and welcome to the Confession Corner, a space where Black adults are able to talk about mental health, self-awareness, and self-actualization. I have a very special guest today. She is rolling in very hot on the Confession.
I like this song. You know I like this song.
I just thought about it. I was like, hold on, wait. And I was listening to my car on the way here. But we have a very special guest, a hot special guest today. This is Kayla, everybody. Hi, Kayla.
Hey, how y'all doing?
So I am so excited for you to be here. I'm so grateful for you to be here and just taking time out of your schedule just to really sit down and chat with me, be present on the show, and just give some insight, okay?
Thank you for having me. I'm treating this day like a Beyonce concert. Like if anybody would have tried to do anything with me before this, I'd be like, no, I don't have time. I'm going to sit at the confession corner.
You're gonna make me cry.
I don't have anything to do after this. I'm going to the confession corner. So.
and period. Thank you so much.
All the punctuation.
So I'm gonna give you some time to just talk about who you are a little bit. You know, just what you do. Just give you time to just pump yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Because you are a phenomenal woman. Okay.
Phenomenally. Amen. Lord, damn it. I mean, Lord, you shouldn't cuss that.
You could cuss.
Yeah, but I said Lord first, and you probably really shouldn't do that, so I apologize. My bad, bro, because you look out for me. But, okay. Hi, my name is Kayla Dixon. What do I say? What do I usually say? I forgot my intro. I haven't given it in so long.
I think.
Oh, yeah, I'm Kayla, I think. My mama named me that, but sometimes I don't know what the fuck is going on with me. I am a person who communicates through art. I think a lot of shit be happening in my brain, and the only way that I can get it straight is to make something. And yeah, it just comes out in a very salacious way. I don't know why.
Salacious. I learned that word like 3 years ago, and I was like, what does that mean? And it was like, very, well, I'm gonna let you go ahead and explain it. You want to go ahead?
I'm gonna have to pull out my phone because I use the word, but I really like to give the dictionary. Like,
it's very sensual, very seductive. Type of vibe. That's kind of what I got from it, from Webster.
Very much like sexual energy, but just instead of saying sexual, salacious. I've definitely
tastes so good.
Yeah, thirst trap for the greater good is like my mantra.
That's cute.
Yeah, so like everything that I do, usually it has a sexual undertone underneath. I can't help it. That's just how productivity comes to me. So let me see. I sing sometimes. That's how I get those thoughts out.
Ma'am,
do you have something else to say? I don't know what you got to say something else for me to know.
You sing, y'all. Kayla sings like a songbird. When we was at the Real Life Club, the film event, and you was singing along, I was like, hold on. I mean, I've heard you sing before, but you could sing. I was like, wait a minute. That's why I told you. I said, I'm gonna call you every night. I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna call you every night, and I'm gonna need a lullaby. I'm gonna need a lullaby. Okay?
I got you, because I haven't been singing, so I got you. But yeah, I sing sometimes. I really enjoy writing music. The writing music aspect turned into something else when I started writing on my clothes. I started writing messages on my clothes to go along with the music that I was writing. And it turned into a brand called the Intercourse Collection. I write messages to Black people on sexy dresses. Yeah, I call it thirst trapping for the greater good. Every time somebody buys a new piece from me, it comes with like a bio or a dissertation, so you know what my thought process was behind the actual quote.
Right.
I'm actually wearing one right now.
What does that say?
It says, "Tell me about the books you read, and that shit get me wet."
Okay.
This is like my first date shirt. Like, I really would like to know what
you're into.
Yeah, what you're into, what you're reading, why you're reading it, what you're getting from it.
Does it have to be particularly like reading? Because I like to listen to audiobooks sometimes, or like watch shows and documentaries.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
That's fine.
But also with wearing the shirt, it also is like, you can't wear this shirt without having something to talk about in a book as well. So that it helps hold me accountable. But okay, so that's thing turned into me taking like really cute pictures to like promote the shirts or promote the dresses, and of course to keep the salacious sexy energy, the photos were sexy. I got into taking pictures for myself, and then other people wanted me to take their pictures. Other people saw me taking pictures of people, and then somebody else hit me up and was just like, hey, how do you feel about like making a dirty magazine?
That's the birth of that.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't, the dirty magazine was not my idea though.
Okay, so what is a dirty magazine? Go ahead. That's like, that just really took me for a loop because I'm like, yo, where is she? This is falling into something. Go ahead.
See, this is why I don't know, I haven't talked about this in so long. But yeah, I am the creative director and editor-in-chief of A Dirty Magazine. We like to highlight people of color in the nude as art. And we also like to have really nasty conversations as well, but in a productive manner. Yes. Again, the whole energy behind how sex can make us productive, I feel like it bleeds. It bleeds through me. Like, that is in my blood veins. And I pour that energy into the magazine. So, yeah.
So beautiful.
I probably do other things, too, but that's all.
For creative, all-time hottie. What else? I was gonna say very multifaceted, you know, as always. But I do remember like first meeting you when you were promoting your dirty magazine. And me, myself, I'm very fluid with my sexuality and just the idea of sex and nudity and everything. I'm not too like far-fetched from like, oh well, you know, I'm very consensual, very respectful about, you know, the body, but also I'm very open to just exploring new things, especially with sex and the topic of sex, because a lot of people make it so taboo when I'm like, well, this is kind of what adults engage in almost all the time. So I like to make sure that people know that it's normal to just talk about sex or even and just be wrapped up in that conversation, because a lot of people just put it off like, oh no. I'm like, why are we turning a blind eye to it? Like, it don't it just annoy you? I'm like,
I don't know what the word is of how it makes me feel, because the fact that you just said like we have sex so much, but then we don't talk about it. As a matter of fact, who taught you how to fuck?
Exactly.
Who taught you how to have sex?
Who told you about your vagina and your penis and
exactly
what to do with that?
Because what's the class that we took in high school?
Sexual education.
Yeah, that was teaching you how to put on a condom. It was teaching you about STDs. It does not teach you about pleasure at all. It doesn't teach you how to actually have a great experience with a partner or with yourself.
Or to let you know that certain things, I know masturbation can be normal if practiced, you know, I want to say in moderation. Intentionally, moderation, and health-wise, you know, healthy. And it's so many things I left out, and especially like parents or other guardians, you know, who educated you on that? Who made you feel comfortable in your own skin? Because I know I've heard different stories where, you know, people's parents avoided the conversation until they was like in their early 20s. And
it's too late. We done fucked so many motherfuckers since then. It's too late.
It's like, so why wasn't this, you know, interjected into like the early courses? But nonetheless, I remember meeting you when I first saw it, and I was like, oh, this is such a dope concept. You know, it gives very much a salacious vibe, but it's not in a raunchy, you know, degrading type of way. It's very promotional, it's very uplifting, and it's also intentional. It's not to make anybody feel like, oh, well, this is not, you know, this is not supposed to be seen, but, you know, we're going to sneak and show it anyway. No, you're proud to promote it, and that's kind of what drew me to you and your team. I'm like, yo, this is dope, because this is very, I want to say, very bold, but also honorable, because not a lot of people do this. You don't see that.
That same day that I met you, I remember this guy walked up to our table, and he had his kid. The kid was probably about that high. Mm-hmm. And I think what happened was he wanted to engage in our table, but he had his son. Mm-hmm. So I asked him, it was just like, do you want me to take your son over here and we just play over here in the grass, like in sight, and you can like have whatever conversation it is you want to have with the teammates. And so at some point we switched over, and maybe he left the table and he just came to retrieve his son. He was just like, I really like what y'all are doing, because it's so tasteful.
It's
like
tasteful.
The way
it's
the way that, like, this shit look clean.
Good. It's clean.
This shit look
it's
clean.
Not like, oh yeah, come look at my nipple. Look at it. Like, it's kind of like, look at this. How does it make you feel? And it may not be showing the whole nipple, it may show like a side boob, and it's like, oh wow, it just gets your imagination running. It makes you feel as if like you said, it's tasteful. It's not raunchy, and I do love the promotion of Black bodies. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times we're told to be ashamed of our bodies. Black women got all these curves and all these hips and all this ass, and a lot of people try to regulate that, and it's like, let's just enjoy it and find the promotion in that, especially with men, the different bodies of men, and especially Black men, and how they should feel not normal, but they should love it more than just being objectified by it, because people have fetishes of Black men in their bodies and stuff like that. So I really do adore the way y'all promote that. I really do love the way that you're open about it, and you're also very concrete about consent, because that's a big thing around with sexuality as well. A lot of people think sexuality, think free, and I'm going to go on a wild rampage with it. I'm going to da-da-da. But there are different levels. There's a structure to it as well, and I do honor you and the team for that. Shout out to B-Mo Yogi. Shout out to B-Mo Yogi.
Thanks, you guys.
But y'all are phenomenal at what y'all do, and I must give you your flowers. Thanks about it, because it's really good. I love it. You make it a safe space.
I appreciate you, because we don't know what the fuck we doing. We don't know what the fuck we doing. Like,
I don't think anybody does.
Well, okay, so hold on. This is the thing. This is the thing, though. If you go into another field like tech or psychology or something like that, there is a structure there, and there's like a roadmap of how you go about doing XYZ, but this is like uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Especially like in the day and age that we are in, like it's always something. The way that so even the idea of showing people Black bodies that are nude, but doing it in a respectful way, we're still targeted. Like Instagram is shadow banning us. Mind you, we don't even got that. We don't even got no titties on it. We don't even have no titties up. There are no titties up there yet. They're all in my fucking phone, because Instagram will take our shit down.
Right.
But it's just like, how are we going to know that our bodies are okay just the way they are? Like, I didn't know what happened to titties after you give childbirth.
Really?
I didn't know
Your
that.
body just changes. I'm not no doctor, so I don't, really know. But I've seen like other women who've gave birth, and I'm like, oh wow, I never knew this. And,
Yeah, but also the same thing with men though. Like, some people don't know what an uncircumcised penis is, and would be scared of it if they saw one and be like, "What's that?" And it's just like, he just got a little extra skin. Bitch, put it in your mouth. Put it in your mouth. It's okay.
And it is okay. So thank you so much, Kayla. So today our topic is going to be on the art of anger management. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
discussing the difference between anger and rage, and understanding the triggers of anger, and how do we, especially as Black women, compose ourselves within that type of I know it may be a little deep, but compose ourselves within that type of situation or that type of environment, and then just honestly taking the choice to either opt out of anger or embrace it. And how does that look for us or for you? More so because you're the guest.
Okay.
So
you said a lot, and I don't know where to start.
It's okay.
Okay.
So what is the difference between anger and rage to you? Like, how does that look? The difference between those two.
Oh, the difference between anger and rage.
Like, where does it feel? What does it feel like in your body?
I think rage for me is like a blinding type of feeling. I definitely can get hella hot. Like, physically, I'd be hot. And it's real chaotic in my brain. I think for me, anger can still be productive. Something can make me angry and I retaliate, but it's in a productive manner. Yeah. I can still think straight. Rage, on the other hand, I'm not thinking straight. I just go straight to it.
Right.
I just go straight to it. Yeah, for me, I think that is the difference. I don't know what anybody else would say.
Because in the dictionary, that's what it mainly is. I was gonna say because rage is more so of a blinding, uncontrollable anger. Uncontrollable anger, and like how you said, your mind is in chaos. It's just not thinking properly. And then also anger. I like how you said like it could be productive. Because I don't know if you ever watched what is the show, Lord? American Gods. When it was, I forgot the character, Mr. Nancy, was telling slaves, like, anger gets shit done.
Hold on, what Shannon Sharp say? Oh, Lord. Yes, the other day.
Girl, anger gets I'm a firm believer that anger gets shit done.
It does.
Like, for real.
I don't know if I tweeted it the other day or I just thought it. But, like, when you get me angry, I think I work better. I really do. Like, you do got to get me a little angry.
A little bit.
Like, as an artist, you got to get me a little angry so that I guess I have more of a fire underneath me to get the shit done.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
And probably do it well, too. Not trying to say you wouldn't do it well, but it's kind of like, And on top of that...
I think it makes it even more important. It's heightened up, like, it's heightened up my want and my need. And
She's like, I'm going to do this and on top of that.
Yep, because you pissed me off with whatever it is the fuck you did, so you going to see that I did this motherfucker right here. You going to see that I did this motherfucker right here. You going to see
in front of your face.
In front of your... I'm so spiteful. I'm working on it. I'm so spiteful.
No, I think that... I seen a post on Instagram, and it was like a text message conversation. Somebody said, "What motivates you the most?" And it was like disrespect, because I feel as if, and it's useful in the terms of being productive. I will say that's one of the greater things about anger. I personally have used it to just trailblaze certain goals and certain achievements and get them done, and know that whoever made me angry or disrespected me or whatever the case may be, make sure they saw it. Like, you ever heard Applying Pressure by J. Cole? Like, that's the theme song in my head. And listen to it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah.
What album? What mixtape?
The Off Season. The most recent J. Cole one, Applying Pressure. Listen to Applying Pressure.
I love J. Cole. And if you see this, Jay, I haven't listened to it yet. I'm sorry.
The Off Season, girl, you got to give it to you. It's going to motivate you so much. But the song Applying Pressure really feeds into my beast mode type of vibe. Like, once I want to get something done and I know somebody is watching, or I know somebody is like motivated me to go ahead and achieve certain things with like the form of disrespect behind me, I'm gonna make sure you see it. And I'm gonna make sure you see it, and I'm just not gonna say nothing too much, because once it's done, it's gonna speak for itself.
I think creatively, that's how I talk shit.
Okay.
I'm not okay. So at a spades table, I'm not the spades player who talks shit the whole time. You gonna see when I put my card down.
Don't it feel so good? You like
it do, and I love being the quiet little one at the motherfucking table. And it's just like, you want to be on my team because God got me, okay?
Okay.
I be blessed with spades over here,
all
high cards.
That's lit. So when we know the difference between anger and rage, right? What takes you from anger to rage? Because I know anger is like an annoyance type of little situation. It could be done in productivity, but what takes you from anger to rage?
I don't know if I know. I'm trying to remember the last time somebody got me there. Oh, damn. I can only think of like one instance at this moment where I was like enraged.
Because you're a very calm person.
I do be hella calm. That's why I be in the house.
Very calm person.
Oh, never mind. Maybe I should think of why I stay in the house. That's a better reason. That'll help me figure out what it was that got me enraged. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? You know what? It was... What's the question, so I don't go on a rant?
So what takes you from anger to rage? Like, what does a person have to do to take you from like, I'm just a little angry, a little annoyed, to like, oh yeah, nah, it's go time.
I'm trying to figure out how to say it. Because I do feel like I was at the tip of rage in this situation. I got caught up in a nigga moment on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, no.
Cinco de Mayo is a child's holiday. At this, I mean, no disrespect to what it really means. But, like, here on fucking U Street, it's a child's holiday.
Oh, wow.
And
it's a jubilee.
The children were outside doing dumb shit. Oh, what is it that this young lady did that took me from anger to rage?
Was it her tone? Was it something that she said?
I think it was her inability to, like, listen and to reason and to just, like, be at, I don't want to keep using the word productive, but, like, she wasn't even trying to help solve the problem. She was just trying to get she wasn't solution-based at all. She was just, it was like...
Does that usually make you, take you to that different type of space?
Yeah, because I be calm. And, like, I think everybody, I don't think there's a person in the world that would say Kayla started some shit or is, like, out here actively trying to, like, muster up something. Like, I guess I feel confrontational, but I try to be productive with the confrontation. Again, I use it in an artistic way. So, in person, oh, I'm sorry, just pick it up. I didn't know what that was. Okay. But, like, I think it enrages me when we can solve a problem and you're trying your hardest just to be on top. Like, okay, let me give an example. Let me give the example.
Go ahead, give an example.
So, this particular Cinco de Mayo, of course, there are no parking spots.
Okay, of course there's not.
There are no parking spots.
On U Street, DC, and Cinco de Mayo, any type of holiday, 4th of July, Juneteenth, what else?
I feel like the Juneteenth energy was different. Okay. But this Cinco de Mayo, niggas and tequila.
Oh, a scary combination.
It was a mess. It was a mess. And there were no parking spots. And we know from the Boondocks, no parking spots, a nigga moment. And I got caught up in one. It happened so fast. But, like, so the quickest way to say this, my home girl and her people was looking for a parking spot, and I just happened to be walking, and I see one. I actually see a parking lot, and in front of the parking lot is a parking spot that somebody just pulled off, and my homegirls is really right up the street.
So they could go ahead.
So they could come and swing up and get in it. So what I did was I went and stood in the parking spot so that they could back up. So they could come and get in it. And, like, as soon as I went and got in the parking spot, this other car, like, backed out of the parking lot so they could swing around and get the parking spot. Now, I'm on the phone with my homegirl, and I was just like, oh, never mind, it's already taken. The other people who got out of the parking lot, swung back to try and get this parking spot, heard me and was just like, oh, no, bitch, what are you talking about? It's already taken. Like, who, not you. I was like, whoa. I'm on the phone I'm on the phone telling my friends that the parking spot is already gone because I see you coming. Right. They couldn't hear any of that. It was like a cloud of, we gonna get this bitch. Yeah. I was just like, wow, I was about to give it to you. And so, like, you trying to be like the peacemaker or whatever, I'm asking them, like, yo, I'm trying to explain to you what's happening, and they couldn't hear it. They couldn't hear it. Like, I'm talking in calm voice, and I really want them to understand, like, yo, I'm about to give it to you. We good.
We good.
That's not what it was. Like, girls jumped out of cars, niggas.
Excuse me?
All of this for nothing. It happened in like 6 seconds.
This is a nigga moment, real bad.
But it was them not listening. It was me trying and then them not listening or trying to, like, be... That shit enrages me because I see it all the time. You know how you look on Instagram or on Twitter and you see people going back and forth, the whole Twitter hand. What did Drake say? Twitter hands?
Twitter fingers.
Yeah. It's just like that's happening in real life now. And I don't know if it's the pandemic. I don't know what it is, but niggas don't have no type of like resolution
based.
Yeah,
and be
like in person.
Quick to anger, slow to patience.
Yeah,
and it's very not. It's not. It's not conducive at all.
Yeah, and so I just think that is what takes me over the top because niggas is smart. We got brains. Why we can't like we too intelligent for us to be just creating havoc for ourselves.
Right.
That enrages me. That takes me from anger to rage because the situation itself is just like, oh, okay, I can be angry about this.
Right,
but the fact that we can't work together to get this shit done, that enrages me. And you really want to fight over a parking spot that's sitting in front of a parking lot. That's sitting in front of a parking lot. I hope the motherfuckers see this too.
And then they going, hey, who was that guest that you? I'm like, look, we ain't got the time, but you should have known better. You should have known fucking
It's okay. Can you just do better next Cinco de Mayo? I promise I won't be out there. I'm coming out on the 6th. I'm just playing.
I think what takes me from anger to rage is the inconsideration or like the no. Let's just say if I tell you something or we do something or whatever the case may be, like I'm like, hey, for instance, somebody, I knew something was a boundary for me with somebody, and they were like, okay, yeah, we had a whole full-blown conversation. They're like, I hear you, understand you. I'm like, okay, cool, bet. The following couple of weeks, a situation happens where it reflected into, like, the boundary that I had, and they had, like, pushed it. And I'm like, okay, so you heard me, but you wasn't listening. And you get all defensive and the person was trying to be like very manipulative, like, well, all I did was this. And I said, no, it's not all what you did. That pissed me off because it's now like you're making me feel inconsiderate, you're being inconsiderate to my feelings. And now that makes me feel less valuable in this space with you. And now, not only do I feel that, I feel disrespected. Now, when I feel disrespected, I get heated. And once I get heated, it's I think it was only probably two, including this time, probably one other time I've ever been enraged. It was one other time, oh my God, it was so bad. But it was one other time I felt like, it was really bad. It was one time I felt really enraged. In hindsight, I had this situation with this man, and basically, we had stopped the connection or whatever case may be. We was in a relationship though, and we had broke up because it was very much gaslighting. We was broke up. All right, cool, and he still had some of my belongings, and you know how that gray area is in relationships where you broke up but y'all still trying to figure out what's going on or just trying to separate from each other and stuff like that, because why do you still have my things if you was really done, you know what I'm saying? So it didn't make no sense to me. So all in hindsight, I found out there was another young lady at his spot. Very wrong.
With your shit?
Yeah, with my stuff. Yeah, with my shit. And I was in my head, I'm I know for a fact, because, you won't once you have new company, oh yeah, you could do whatever, whatever the case may be. The only thing in my head was I knew that some of my belongings, they were going to use. So I was like, oh, it's not the fact that you have somebody else there at your house. Whatever the case, we broke up for whatever reason, cool. It was a week. And I was like, oh, that was very quick, but hurtful, of course. I said, oh, you still got my belongings with you. I said, you know what? I think I still got some shorts or something I could give to you. I'm going to pull up. Very wrong. Very wrong. Very, very wrong. Very, 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 very wrong.
You were saying red.
Yeah, I was, and my sister and my best friend was like, no, don't do that. You don't need to do that. And in my head, it was like, no, you need to do that, because now it feels disrespectful. Now it feels like you're trying to make a fool out of me, and not even just because of the whole relationship aspect, just because you have my things and you're going to be thinking, this woman's going to be thinking that, oh yeah, I'll be daggone. Actually, I'd be damned if I would have seen her in her Instagram story or whatever the case may be, posting something, because she casually posted, and one of my alma mater shirts or using one of my bags. I had left one of my bags over there and stuff like that. And then also, it was just too much. So I had went over there, and it wasn't like a bombarding type of thing. Like I'm banging on the door, like you better open the door, because his family was at the house, because he stayed at his family's house. And I talked to his father outside. I'm like, hey, is he in there? He was like, yeah, he should be in there. I was like, okay, cool, thank you. It's not like a hey, it was like, casual conversation. I knocked on the door. His niece had opened the door, and I was like, oh, hey, is your uncle back there? She was like, let me go check. I'm standing at the door. It's not like I'm barging in. I'm not coming in because I don't do that to people's houses. I wouldn't want nobody to do that to my house. But I'm there, though. Still wrong, but I'm there. So she goes back, tries to get him, and he doesn't come out of his room. 'Cause I can see his room like straight, through the door.
He was scared.
And yeah, so she came back, and she was like, yeah, he's back there, but you could go back there, because she was playing the game. Like, like kids are preoccupied. They're like, okay, whatever, just let me play the game. She was like, yeah, you go back there. I said, okay. Well, I have some of his things. I told her just like this, I'm going to give it to him, and I'm going to get some of my things, and I'm going to leave, okay? She said, okay. She's like 10, 9, or whatever. She's like, okay. So I go back there, knock on the door. He was like, what? So I knock again. He was like, what? So I open the door, and he's laying in bed with the woman. Child, I know some people was like, oh my God, I would have. Child, I say, hey y'all, listen, I'm talking just like this. I'm not yelling. I'm not, oh my God, how could you? I'm like, hey y'all, look, here's some of your things. You ain't even got to get up. Y'all enjoying yourselves. I'm going to get some of my things out of the drawers, and I'm going to be out. Girl, there was a black man, but he turned white when he saw me, child. I said, oh my God. So he gets up, all the rage, whatever, woo, woo. But after the whole fact, I was really like sitting there, because he was going to get my things. I was waiting out the hallway. And after the whole fact, I just wanted my things, because I didn't want nothing else. I didn't want my energy up in that house. And I go to my car and stuff like that, and he gets to doing the extra and the most, because I was just going to leave, and whatever else I left or whatever was going to be there, because I just got whatever it was. But he started doing the most when I was walking back to my car, and I was like, you can't be doing that. You can't be making it seem as if like
you care this much.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? I'm pissed off. If you thought I was pissed off by driving over here in like full red vision, I'm about to be more pissed off, because you try to act as if like you pump faking, like, oh yeah, big whatever, woo woo woo, and you was wrong. So I told him. The funny thing is, I had let him borrow like my silk sheets, because I sleep on satin silk sheets. I told his brother, I said, tell him to bring me the sheets that he's fucking that girl on right now. Tell him to do that.
Wait, pause. They was real silk sheets? They wasn't polyester?
I don't think this was polyester. It was a set.
Wow.
Yeah, girl.
Why did you let him borrow those? Or was it for you, for when you came over there?
Yeah, it was, because we was like, I was over there the majority of the time.
Okay, keep going.
And I think that was so petty, and I was like, damn. But when I reflect,
that wasn't fucking petty. Silk is expensive.
I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. But at the same time, because when I look back at it,
maybe it was a little petty.
It was very petty, and I felt so bad at the time, like afterwards. But during the time, I was like, no, like, I'm pissed. Like, fuck all y'all, fuck you. Like, I'm about to get all my shit and get the fuck up out of here. But looking back at it, I really kind of was like disappointed in myself, because I don't really get to a point of rage. It takes a lot. It takes a whole lot for me to get from angry to even get angry for real. But to get angry to a point of rage, very seldom. And I think that even being a black woman, some people try to minimize our anger. They try to minimize the fact that, you can't, well, okay, you just angry at this or whatever the case may be. If I'm voicing a concern, if I have a boundary, sometimes that could be seen as me being spicy or feisty or being angry. And it's like, no, I'm not being all these other things, like angry as you may try to put on me. But if I try to stabilize a boundary, a lot of the times it is looked at as anger. And I just want to ask, like, how does that feel, having that type of stereotype placed on you, or if it has ever been placed on you?
don't know if I specifically feel like that stereotype has been placed on me because I probably am not as outward with my anger or my rage as I could be, or I mask mine. Like, I feel like healthy, not unhealthy way that I express my anger is through that productive way of my craft.
Right.
And so I kind of sugarcoat it so that people don't really know how angry I am. So I don't think that falls on me, or the finger has been pointed at me directly.
Right. And been like, oh, you're the angry black woman. Or
yes.
Like that.
But again, this book that I'm reading, because
what book are you reading?
It's called Unbound, A Woman's Guide to Power. I have a mentor who I was having a meeting with, and it was another thing that really enrages me. It's one of my family members. And of course, you can't like quite get rid of family members the way you can get rid of people on U Street on Cinco de Mayo. But I was just telling her, like, I've been struggling with this family member situation, and what I've come to is that I'm really sick of not speaking up.
Okay.
Or my family members not speaking up. And I was explaining that I feel like I come from a lineage of women who just have never spoke up. And I'm not gonna like fault the women who came before me and my family. I'm not gonna fault them for that, because even in this book, what I'm learning is that we as women have been like, we've been conditioned to be in this like fake submissive space where we're not supposed to ask for too much. In order to be a good girl, you can't ask for too much. You can't want for too much. You can't disagree too much, because then you're problematic. Then you're not like a good girl anymore. And
I've been issues. And why would that even have to be a thing? Why can't you just take this and be okay with it?
Yeah, I've been for like forever. I've always thought of myself as like the chillest girlfriend, the chillest like female homie that you could ever have. I always prided myself on that, but I'm trying to be a problem now. Like, I'm really trying to be a problem. I mean, in the best type of way, because I have seen the product of like what a man looks like when a woman speaks her mind in like the most productive way possible. And that woman is not quiet. She ain't quiet. She says what it is she feels, but it's for your betterment. She might say it.
It's not out of like just trying to boss you around or nothing like that, but this is my concern and I'm gonna speak on that.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's just like us being angry, and I think that's something that everybody else, if women have been conditioned to be this way, that also means men and everybody else has been conditioned to think that a certain way, that we're supposed to be a certain way as well. So it's just like unconditioning and a new way of learning of the new world order. That's all it is. And it's just like, if we angry, we probably got a right to be angry. We probably got a right to be angry, or the order of things just, it's not right.
It's not, or we've been handed the short end of the stick, and it's kind of like, well, why can't you just take it? And it's like, no, I don't want this.
I think everybody's got a short stick.
Somebody's got a short stick somewhere. That's a good one. I think everybody does.
Everybody's got a short stick. We all go through our shit. Everybody might have a right to be angry, but it's just like, how do you communicate it in a productive way?
I was going to say that's one of the other questions.
And are you listening when a person says something to you? I think that's another thing. Are you listening? Yeah. Like, another thing in the book, it talks about like what the submissive space is, but it also talks about what the dominant space is. And I'm not just speaking sexually, just like in life. When you are being submissive, your attention is focused inward on what it is you feel, what it is you need, what it is you want, what it is you desire. But on the dominant hand, your focus is outward on whoever it is you're having this conversation with. And so what I'm finding as far as like this angry black woman thing, we get caught up and we get mad because we want to be in the submissive space, but also our energy be focused outward, and we get caught in the gray area. And it's just like, we have to be in spaces where we can be submissive fully, or we can be dominant fully. We got to get out of the gray area so that we can fully communicate what it is we need,
and
what it is we require, what it is we would desire, what it is we need to see, and not be. Another thing that the book said is we tend to feel more comfortable complaining about things opposed to telling you what it is we require and what it is we need, because again, that feels naggy, that feels bossy, that feels like the angry black woman. But it's just like, no. In order for someone to give you what it is you want, in order for the world order to be restored or whatever it is we call it, you have to be able to communicate like straightforward. Hey, it's too hot in here. Could we turn the air on a little bit? I'm just playing. I'm just giving an example. Instead of being like, oh, God, it's hot. Why you like your room so hot? Oh, this is pissing me off. But no, instead of just saying like, instead you just say, it's a little hot in here. Can we turn the air on? And then if that's not angry, that's just saying, hey, I need this environment to change.
I think it's a duality type of thing too. I think that black women, especially, I like how you talked about the submissive and the dominance. We're taught, and in just relationships and in general, we're taught to be, we're taught to be like, you should be a good girl, you should be submissive, but then also you should be dominant. I think that's possible in a sense, but at the same time, that's the consciousness of your duality and what you focus on. Because I like how you gave the example about the air conditioning, like, just being straightforward rather than just masking it. I think that was like a much passive way, and that makes so much sense because I do experience a lot of our women do things in a passive way, and it's like, why didn't you just ask? A lot of my friend group were very big on one of my sisters says, put your pussy forward. Like, put it forward. Because why are you acting and sitting here like, oh, I'm just going to take this, or like, like you said, in a nagging way or anything like that. No, put your pussy forward and ask for what you want, and you'll receive it. Like, you better root for your damn self.
It's hard, though.
It's very hard.
It's hard because it's like we have been conditioned this way forever. Our parents, our mothers, our grandmothers, like everybody, like the women in our lineage, it's not just my family, have been taught to be this way. And so that's like a curse that is, you can't just read the book and say, oh yeah, that sounds familiar and that feels familiar, but it's like work that you got to do daily, because I'm still terrible at it. I beat myself up about it. Like I didn't cry yesterday, but I mean, I did have a talking to myself like, bitch, why is this so hard? Like, all you got to do is open your mouth and say what the fuck it is you feel. Why is it so hard?
Right.
I do believe that having partners around you who encourage safe spaces for you to just like say whatever the fuck it is you feel, and not, and that regardless of if it's different than how they feel, you're still gonna be safe.
Do you feel safe when, I like when you talked about like safe space, so being in a safe space and being around friends and just like you said, partners or whoever it is, do you feel as if like when you do feel like these type of emotions, and I'm gonna go back to anger, when you do feel angry, do you feel like certain people you're safe to experience that emotion with them, or tell them like, what, I'm angry, I'm gonna express why, not in an unhealthy way, but do you feel safe expressing that emotion with the partners that you have now or the friends that you have?
Some of them. Not all of them. Some of them.
Why is that?
I think the partners that I feel safe with, they let me feel it. And I don't think they try to talk me out of my feelings. I think they help me understand the feelings more. And the people who I don't feel safe with yet, I think they try to rush me out of feeling it, to be honest with you.
That's something.
Yeah, I feel like they try to rush me out of feeling it. or make the feelings feel, I guess, insignificant, or try to make me feel like it's not as valid or it's not as big a deal as you're making it be. And it's just like, I don't always need that. I don't always need that. Or maybe when I'm expressing it, I don't need that at this moment. Maybe you can talk to me about this tomorrow after the red that I see is like a little pink or something. But the people who, they let me feel it. Right. They sit with me as I feel it.
That's beautiful.
Cause I've definitely pulled up. I've definitely pulled up at a nigga house at like,
girl, don't do it.
3 o'clock. No. This is a good story. This is a good story. No. I've definitely pulled up at a nigga house at like 3 o'clock in the morning and yelled and cried on his porch. Because I was mad about something that had nothing to do with him. Okay. But like he sat there with me and let me yell and he let me feel it. Right. And then later on, after I felt it, he was just like, okay, so da 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 da. Just like, okay, thank you
for that, because now I feel more safe with you in expressing this, especially anger. I think a lot of people are not saying afraid to show their anger, but at some point in time, it's unexpected to see what could come out of the anger. Like, I know for me, when I'm angry, like, my jaw gets tight and you could, like, I get a vein in my forehead and everything like that. Like, it gets real ugly. So that's kind of a thing with just experiencing partners or people who make you feel comfortable even being in that space. Do you feel like some type of triggers activate that type of anger? Or have you ever had triggers to activate your anger? Like if somebody did something, because I know for me, like seeing inconsistency in somebody makes me angry real quick. That's a trigger for me. And it's been very difficult for me to cope with it in a healthy way, because sometimes people do forget. Sometimes people don't like want to do certain things, and I'm not saying because I've learned to not put myself in a space of an individual or a partner or a friend that's inconsistent. But some people do forget some things sometimes, or they don't do something all the time. And I really get like this type of ultimate trigger. It's like, oh my God, they are not considering me. They don't like me. They not fucking with me. I must have did something. Oh my gosh. But then why can't they do this? Well, they've done it before. So then that makes me a little bit angry. But I've been working on it. I
don't know at this moment if I could voice what the triggers are. Because I know at this moment in my life, something that angers me is this like family member. And they anger me. I don't like, I think their existence angers me.
It's okay. Look, you being honest.
Their existence angers me. And it just doesn't matter what they do. They can walk in a room and I'm mad. Oh, because I just feel like you.
So that's kind of a trigger. That's a present trigger, if anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, but like they called me on 4th of July, and my whole mood changed. I ain't answer the phone. Just seeing their name pop up on my phone triggered me. I had to like text another family member to be like, yo, what's going on? Why are they calling me? Did they call you? I'm looking on my Instagram to see if they got, because like they might have somebody watching my Instagram story. So it's just like
that's
shit.
Insane.
But I mean, honestly, with the work that I do and like dealing with older family members, it's just like, I understand. This is something that I'm going to have to deal with. And that's another one of those situations where it's just like somebody wants to talk at you, but they're not listening. And we could solve a problem together. We could hash it out. We could have a productive conversation, but you don't listen. Right. You just want to be right. So that triggers me. That triggers me. And again, that's another reason why I stay in the house, because I feel like a lot of people are like that. And it's just safer for all y'all niggas if I stay home. Because ain't nobody gonna trigger me there. It's just me. It's me and my walls and my pots and pans, and that's the safest shit for everybody. I want to get out of that though. Okay. Because I'm getting a little cabin fever, and there are so many beautiful things out there to experience. I don't want to be so present on the internet, because it's angry there too. I don't want to be so present on the internet. I want to experience this shit in real life, and I want to be able to get along. Y'all motherfuckers anger me. They anger me though. Digitally and in real life, you anger me. But
That was a beautiful explanation.
I don't know. I'm the triggers.
It's just a lot. This is something to think about. I just want you to, be present with that, because I understand a lot of people think like, why am I angry? And they don't realize certain things can trigger them subconsciously in the subconscious mind. And we ultimately like just click towards that type of emotion. And some people like, why are you angry? And sometimes people can't explain it. They be like, I don't know. And whether or not you focus internally on certain things that may make you upset or may trigger you, until you find that out, then you'll find the source as to why anger is present. Like you just said, your family member. Now, if that certain family member does show themselves to be within that environment, or if I see that and I see your mood change, I'm like, oh, no, I understand. I get it. And I think understanding certain people's triggers, it's not so much as like an eggshell type of thing. Like, if I snap my fingers, that's a trigger for somebody to get angry. It's not to be like that, but it's to understand that person, but then also for that person to understand their own and to work on that and to work more inward towards that. Because once you do that, it causes some type of resolve. Because I could sit here, and that leads me to my next question. I could sit here and embrace that anger, not in a negative way. I can embrace that anger, or I could try like opt out of it and repress it. But what do you feel as if that you do when you're presented with anger? Do you feel as if that you're able to like opt out of it and, push it to the side and be like, okay, this is not needed, and repress it? Or do you feel as if like you're able to embrace it and push it towards a positive way? Or do you feel like you embrace it and push it towards a negative way?
I think I embrace it and push it towards a positive way. I think I'm also really good at removing myself before it turns into rage. I think I don't know if that's me running away or what,
I don't think
but yeah, I think I do it in a positive way, because even with this family member, I got productive ways in dealing with it. I'm reading a book.
Okay, that's a really good book. I'm gonna need to read it.
I've thought about putting together a press kit so that like, because I understand the work that I do is different and salacious is not how we were brought up. Again, I'm supposed to be a good girl. I thought about putting together a press kit of all of my work so people understand, oh, hey, there's a way bigger meaning behind this than just titties.
Hello?
It's a way bigger meaning behind this than her having a shirt on that talks about what gets her wet. Like, it's a, so, yeah, I think I do, I think just naturally I try to sway, or not even try. Naturally, I think I turn anger into productivity. There are times that it gets negative, but thankfully, I think I have a circle around me who tap on me and be like, Kayla, you're better than that.
Yeah.
And so I'm thankful for those people. I'm thankful for those safe spaces and those people who tap on me and be like, nah, you're better than that.
Yeah,
How can you reel it in? How can you reel it in? And even though my productivity be a little spicy sometimes, and I even be having to tap on me and be like, is that the best way? It's like, are you taking spiteful to a new level right now?
I really control my pettiness outwardly because of my ego, and I call this other personality in my head, like, I don't know if you like the reverse me, like the anti-me. Girl, she is something else. Like, and it doesn't intentionally come out or anything like that, but sometimes I'll say something and my best friend be like, Vina. I'm like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Not to her, but like if we're talking about a situation or something like that, and then like if it includes me and like my anger and like me feeling something, I'm like, man, fuck all this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just something that's out of my character. She'll be like, Vina, and just like the whole like tap on the hand, like, you're better than that. She'll reel me back, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just look at it from a different approach.
I'm a little toxic because I love when quiet people or like real calm people get riled up. I'll be like, damn, I didn't know you could do that.
It's not fun.
I just want to see from afar.
Girl,
I just want to see from afar.
It's like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, I just
know how like Franklin, you watch Snowfall, right? You ever watch Snowfall? You know how Franklin be doing that like laugh? You love Damson.
Hold on.
You love Damson, don't you?
So I binge watched Snowfall all the seasons in like a week and a half. And again, the little toxic part of me, he be so calm. He be so under control. But the moments where he got mad and turned up, pussy was wet. I was like,
Dancing.
Why y'all make Franklin mad?
Franklin,
Get mad, Franklin.
The way that I've experienced that before and I caught myself and I was like, oh, this is not okay. Because like somebody will say something to me and I'm real quick to be like, okay. And then the niggas be like, you good, Vina? I'm like, and then like my best friend or like my sister be like, nah, bro, like relax. I'm real quick to say something back to somebody, but I really have to like calm down because if I don't, it's very much not productive. But I do think I embrace my anger in a way, like you said, that's positive because I love. It's gonna sound so toxic. I love like showing niggas up. I love showing them like, yeah, you see this. And also on top of that, I did this in your face and you can't do it like me. You're going to try, but you can't. And I know you can't. And if you even try, somebody's going to say, oh, you was trying to do it like X, Y, and Z, and they're going to use me as an example. And it's kind of like, ooh. And I'm not going to say nothing about it. I'm just going to be like, oh, okay, this is what I do, X, Y, and Z. There it is.
Why is that toxic?
It's not toxic fully. I just think that I should do things out of a certain motivation. I think using anger sometimes helps.
I'm about to say it
helps.
Works. It helps.
But I would still want to use the intention off of just my pure intention, not just so much anger. But if it helps get shit done, then I'm not really too mad at it. So
when you figure out how to use the other intentions, let
me know.
Let the rest of us know. Because until then, anger works.
Anger gets shit done.
Anger works. I haven't picked up a book yet that teaches me otherwise on what works better. I mean,
when you figure it out, let us know.
Yeah.
So this is the part of the show where I get up in your business a little bit. It's called a confession time question. If you feel so inclined to be vulnerable with me, I would really appreciate it. So the confession time question is more so of I'm going to ask you to do something and, you just go ahead and give a response to it. So imagine me. I don't want to use a family member, but if I was somebody that you were angry at or that you have been angry at before you forgave or whatever the case may be, what would you say to me if I was that person? Like expressing like why you're angry at me and how you wish things could be changed.
Hold on. So let me break it down. Let me see if I understand what you're asking. So you saying if you my family member who I'm mad at, what would I say to you sitting right here beside me right now?
Yep, and explaining why you're angry at me. And how could we move forward from that?
And you want me to do this productively?
Yep. Or the best way that you can. Whatever feels normal to you.
See, okay, all right. This might take a minute or two because I be like fighting with him in my head sometimes, to be honest with you. I got lines laid out to lay this motherfucker out. I do. And I haven't thought of a productive way to have the conversation quite yet. So, don't you challenging me today? Okay. You are that family member. Deep down in my spirit, I love you. I think you have a good heart. But there are some ways about you that do not make me feel good. There are some ways about you that make a lot of people feel bad, and they are too afraid to say it. I think you like to attack me because I stick out like a sore thumb. And that's fine that you want to attack me. It's cool. Because I can take it. It's cool. We can go head to head. But, it would be a huge, it would make me really proud if we could work this out. It would really make me proud. I would really feel like, you know what, God? You gave a nigga a little bit of power to be able to work this out with him. or to be able to work this out with you. I I'd like you to be able to verbalize to me why it is you feel the need to give me this energy. And I will listen. But when I speak, I need you to listen to me as well. Because I feel like that's the only way that this can work, this can be productive. And if you feel like that's not possible, just let me know. And I can slash your tires. Because it can be that energy. It really can. But I am here. I am here. And I really would love to see you at family reunions and wave. I would really love for you to call me. And I actually answer the phone. Because I think you're really cool sometimes. I mean, you the only family member who got a gold tooth. I fuck with you, dog, a little bit. But there are certain things that you bring to this family that are harmful and hurtful. And I don't want that to carry over into the next generation. I would really love it if we were tighter and if we could communicate effectively. And if you are really serious about communicating with me, there's some work that has to be done on both parts. And I can help you with the things that I've learned. I can share some knowledge with you. And on the other side, if there are things that you really feel like I need to learn for us to be better communicators, I'll listen. But otherwise, I can still slash your tires.
Cut. How do you feel?
How do I feel?
How did that feel?
I mean, it was cool. It was cool. It was fine. It was
cool.
How you feel?
I feel like whoever receives it, I think it was a great way to, except for the slashing the tires.
I'm dead ass serious. I'm fucking dead ass serious.
But listen, I do feel as if that, just as the way that you were able to voice that, I'm not trying to say you got to go tell them that verbatim whenever the time you see them, but just voicing that and being able to take hold of those emotions of anger or rage really helped you cultivate like that type of sentence or that type of statement to them. And you were vulnerable, you were intentional with the words that you chose. Even if it was seemingly like, still some type of tension within them, it still gave that you really wanted to get this message across and that you really want this relationship or between you and this family member to be better.
I do. And it's just that. Like the work, it's the work that you have to do to like, you can pull up to a situation and be responsible and be respectful. Mm-hmm. But again, when you talk about like when you feel disrespected, then it's just like it switches your energy. Mm-hmm. And I guess like the responsibility of always being like, 10 toes down on, I'm going to be respectful and I'm going to give grace because I know you don't know no better. That is where I am still struggling.
Right.
That is where I'm still struggling. So
I appreciate you, Kayla. Thank you so much. Give me your hands, Julia. Thank you so much for being here on the show today. That is all the time we have today. I am your host, Vina. This is Confession Corner, and we are out. Peace.
Bye, you guys.